Good morning. This is Kelley Hobart from Alpaca Direct, and I'm here talking about three brand new patterns that have just come out, and they're free, and where you can get them. And here is a little sample that I have of one of the patterns. And I was also going to talk about a couple skills that are required to knit the patterns and some different ideas for how you can do these simple stitches differently to make them look even better when you're doing lace work. So every week we have a drawing, and for this last week we had some lovely vintage chunky. And if you're not familiar with vintage chunky by Barocco, it is an acrylic and wool blend, and it makes for a perfect thick project, heavyweight project, and it doesn't get too hot because it doesn't have a ton of wool. It has just enough to keep you warm but not be too hot. And that's a great workhorse yarn. And I was thinking for this week, we could have for our giveaway yarns, it's going to be Millie Calori Baby. And there's what it looks like on the label. And what I love about this yarn is that it is a 100% virgin wool. They call it merino fine, and it has long color changes, so it lends itself to bigger projects. And so, because the color striping is slow color striping is thick stripes that it creates. And so, and having it be 100% merino wool is quite lovely. And I was thinking that we could do the green colorway or the fall colorway. What do you think about that, Jim? Does this look like fall to you guys? And has greens and blues. They're both kind of fall. So all you have to do to get entered to win is you post comments in the comment section, and you can even talk about what you're knitting presently and maybe some patterns if you have a pattern that's particularly lovely, and we can talk about it in future Technique Tuesdays. Or you can just post what you like, which color of yarn that you like, and you'll be entered to win. It's that easy. Yes, and there is a coupon. Jim said there's a coupon code for this particular yarn. Every yarn that we do a giveaway with, we try and do a 10% discount code for that day only. And so if you look, I think Megan will probably post a link for the coupon code. If not, it's TT1422. TT1422 for the code for just today to get 10% off. If you like working with Millie Calori, it's a great opportunity to get a little bit of a discount. And so, anyway.
Oh, so much of your people joining you. So.
Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to have you here with us. And I don't know if where you are, the weather is lovely, but here we have beautiful fall weather. It's like t-shirt weather, even though I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. I tend to get cold in the morning. By the afternoon, I'll have my t-shirt on. But it is lovely weather, and I'm totally enjoying it. Yeah, I can't wait to get outside today.
Tell them about where we went this
yes.
weekend.
Yes, we went to this last weekend. We went on a trip in our motorhome, and we took our 3 dogs and our kitty cat Max with us to Whitefish, Montana, and we had a great time. And it was the Oktoberfest, and it's so much fun. I love watching the people hold the big steins of beer. They have to hold them out, their arms out straight, and it's nice, interesting. Actually, it's kind of funny to see who caves first because they're quite heavy. And a lot of times the women are the winners. It's just so funny. Anyway, it was a great time. The weather was beautiful, and we were able to walk around in the shops, and we had a great time.
Tell them about the older couple we
yes.
saw dancing.
Oh, yes. And it was totally awe-inspiring because there was this older couple that were the lady was in part of the band, and her husband, they were doing the dancing and singing. Mind you, this Oktoberfest, this was the very last day of 2 weeks that they have been performing. Doing music, and this lady was so enthusiastic. She must be been in her 70s
80s.
or early 80s, and she danced every song that she could that she wasn't singing, and she was putting 150% into it. And I told Jim, take a picture of that couple while they're dancing, because we need to post it on our wall so that we can remember, to have that kind of drive, because you can imagine that this lady has a fantastic life because she squeezes every bit that she can out of the life that she has. And wasn't it very awe-inspiring?
And her
Yeah.
husband too.
Yes, and her husband too. He was a great dancer, and he was dancing with his daughter. It looked like his daughter that he was dancing with part of the time, and he was also dancing with other women. But I mean, he put all of us to shame. He was just a fantastic dancer, and they had infinite amounts of energy. It was just totally awe-inspiring. It was great. I want to go back there next year just so I can see that again, just so I can just be inspired by those lovely people. Anyway, so for the 3 patterns that we have that I found by searching here and there,
Well, tell me again what it is.
Yes, they're 3 patterns that I found that are brand new patterns, and I wanted to show you where you can get them and give you a look at the pattern, so you can make them yourself if you're so inspired to do so. And hopefully Megan will provide the links for you. I wrote next to each one where I found them, and I put links on my paperwork for Megan. So hopefully she has that. She can provide those links for you too. If not, I'll tell you where you can find them. You can write it down and you can search for that and get that on your own. The first one is called Knit Free, and it's by Joji Locatelli. And this is a lovely, it's sort of a, it's a lace pattern, but it is really cute. This is the sample of the lace pattern on that. And I knit my pattern flat, but hers is knit in the round. But it's a really cute pattern, and it is going to be an upcoming knit along. And I believe this one is, I think it's the one you can find it free through tomorrow. So it's called Knit Free. It's a cowl, and it's by Joji Locatelli. And if you've done any of her patterns, she does great patterns. They're easy to understand, and they're great. The next one that I thought was cool, and this was like a chunky weight cowl, and it is easy, just knits and purls. So if you're looking for TV watching knitting, this is called the Carmen Cowl, and it's by You Knit Toronto. Can you see it, Jim? Is that better? Yeah, and this one is a free pattern as well. And I found this new Knit Free one can be found on Ravelry is where I found that one. And then this Carmen Cowl is, oh, no. The Carmen Cowl is free through tomorrow. This one is free through tomorrow. And I'm looking to see where I found this. And you can find it on Uknit. It's EWE, Uknit Toronto. And it was a free pattern. Or you can also Google it. But it was a really cute cowl for...
Megan's helping with the post too.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's just super knits and purls. But I thought it's really cute. It's a very cute cowl. And then the last one that I had was, oh dear. Well, I'll let you read the name. It's in Finnish. Finnish? Finnish. Not finished, but Finnish. But here it is right here. And what's interesting about this pattern, I wanted to take a look at it with you because it is not written in English. And it's for these long stockings that you can fold over the top of your tall boots. I thought it was totally cool. But the catch is that it's not in English. It's in Finnish. So let's take a look at it, and I will show you how I'm able to make this sock pattern using the chart that they provide. So here I am. I'm like, this is such a cute pattern. First of all, when you're doing a sock pattern, you most likely are going to need to know how many stitches you cast on for socks for whatever yarn that you're doing. And you can see there's cables in here, right? So here is the cable, the chart. You can see right here, it's just standard knitting terms. left and right crosses or cables. You can call them whatever you want. So this one has 12 stitches plus 2. Well, for mine, I wanted to use a light worsted weight yarn, and I know that I'm going to use either a 2 or a 3 needle because I want my fabric to be warm, tighter, denser fabric so that I can have them fit me first of all and also have them be warm. So what I did with mine, if you look their chart, and this is my chart, first of all, I used regular graph paper that you can buy at any store. Then I numbered it for 36 rounds because I'm going to be doing this in the round. And then I wanted to have 24 stitches. 8 times 3 is 24. So I'm going to have an 8-stitch repeat. So what I had to do is I needed to dump some stitches. So what I did is I dumped 2 out of the center and moved this cross over to here so I could take 2 knit stitches out of there. And then I also got rid of a couple purl here and a purl here. So I only have 1 purl here and 1 purl here.
Why'd you do that?
Because I needed to get down to 8 stitches instead of 12 stitch repeat. So what I'm going to be doing when I do my socks, if you see her socks in here, you can see that there's 3 repeats. I wanted 3 repeats on mine, and I want the second repeat to be right in the middle of my socks. So by making 3 repeats, I will have exactly that. I will have the pattern go straight up from my toes all the way up to my leg, and it'll be straight. The middle repeat will be in the center of my sock. Do you see how that works? Mm-hmm. So I will have my picture will very much mirror her picture. And then in the pattern, she does increases on the back of the leg for her thigh or for her calf. So as it gets bigger, she's increasing. So my increases will be an increase on either side, make one right and make one left in the either side of where I'm doing my increases. And then I'm going to do it according to, I saw on Ravelry that someone had done it every 14 rows or so. So I'm going to do my increase somewhere in the middle of my cable, in the middle of my cables, and keep it at about 14 rounds between each increase. And I got that information from Ravelry since I can't read her pattern because it's in Finnish. So, and I know how to do a toe, so that's no problem. And then I know I can choose whatever heel I want. And then the other thing that I did do is on my top cuff, I made my 8 stitches and made the ribbing actually match the pattern so that the pearls line up, and then I put knits and pearls in the center. Do you see how that is? Mm-hmm. So on the top part, she used an actual piece of lace. I won't be doing that. I'll be using ribbing. I'll just use ribbing so I can fold it over my boot. And my sock will be slightly shorter because my boots don't come up over the knee. My boots are below the knee boots. So I will stop and give myself enough ribbing so that I can just fold it right over the top of my boot. Cool. So anyway, now let's take a look at our other things that I want to talk about today. And what I wanted to talk about is our 2 different ways to do the SSK. And then I wanted to talk about the center double decrease because on her pattern here, she has center double decreases, and then she has SSKs and knit 2s together. And if you look at my sample here, let's take a look at the sample so you can see why I thought it was worth it to actually look at couple different ways to do that SSK. So here is my sample. And on the bottom is the traditional way to do the SSK. And on the top here is the different way to do an SSK. And I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but on the top, do you see how the pattern actually stands out more than on the bottom? Doesn't it?
Flip the bottom up so yeah.
Do you see that? The top stands out more. Now this hasn't been blocked. There's nothing that's been done to it. But I wanted to show you how to do that other
At the
SSK.
bottom so they can see the difference there.
There's the bottom,
Mhm.
and here's the top. And it's the exact same pattern. This is just one repeat, and this is another repeat.
All you did, what was different then?
All I did is change the way I did the slip knit. Okay. So let's take a look at that. First of all, I'm going to show you how to do the center double decrease, just because I'm on round number 17 here, and then we will come back and do the SSKs. So on this pattern, the first thing that it tells me to do is purl 1, and then it's knit 2, and then a yarn over is just laying the yarn from the front to the back over the needle. And then I knit 2 more stitches, and then I do that center double decrease. That decreases 2 stitches, and what it does is if you have 3 stitches in the row, the center stitch comes out on top and it makes a line there. So to do the center double decrease, you slide 2 stitches as if to knit, and you have to do it both of them at once. Okay, then you knit another stitch, then you take those 2 stitches that you slipped and you place them right over the top, and it's decreased 2 stitches from you used 3 stitches and decreased 2 of them, and it just makes a straight line that stand out, that's very prominent, and it's often used in lace, but it's super simple to do. So we'll do that one more time, and then I will knit back and we can take a look at our thing. Sorry, sweetie, my yarn is, I need more yarn to knit with. So first of all, do a purl 1, knit your 2 stitches, and then do a yarn over and knit 2 more stitches, and then do your center double decrease, which involves taking those 2 stitches, sliding them at once, knitting 1, and passing that up and over, and that's the center double decrease. It's super easy to do, but it makes a lace really nice. It makes the center lines stand out so much better when you use these the center double decrease. So I'm going to slide this out of the way, and what we're going to do on the way back is we're going to do we're going to purl all the way across until we get to our last stitch, and then we're going to knit it. So we're going to purl, and you can see that I'm using these wooden needles, and I normally use metal needles, and I find the wood is it's a little stickier to use. So if you don't have great stitch control, the wood is fantastic for newer knitters. For me, I find it a little too sticky. I prefer the metal, and the lace tip is a little bit shorter, because that's what I had. I always use what I have. It's the first thing that I pulled out of my needle holder, and so I just did that. But normally, if I'm doing lace, I do not do the whole lace project with wood needles. Some people really like it. I find that I knit slower with wood needles than I knit with metal needles, and so of course I like to move right along in my knitting, and so that doesn't allow me to knit quite as fast. There you go. And so we did our purl round, and I'll bring this one back. Now we're on round number 19, and we could take a look at those slip knit, which I think of the slip knit as sliding down to the right, and the opposite of that is the knit 2 together. So one second, sweetheart, I'm just going to all right. So on round number 19, we start with the purl. So we purl that first stitch, then we knit 1, then we yarn over, then we do 2 stitches. And now we are going to take a look at first we're going to do the traditional way of slip knit, and then I'll take it out and I'll show you the new way. So to do the regular slip knit, you go slip as if to knit, slip as if to knit, hold those 2 stitches in the front with your left hand needle, and you knit it through the back loop. That is the traditional way to do the slip knit. What I'm telling, what I did that I think makes the lace work stand out a little bit better. It's subtle, but it does make a difference, I think, and it's pretty easy. So you slip as if to knit. Don't do anything with that second stitch. Just stick it back on the left-hand needle, just like that. And then you knit those 2 stitches through the back loop. So I'm going to knit one, and we don't have problems with the knit 2 together. It always is on the straight and narrow, and it's never a problem. It's just slip knit that can look a little edgy. It goes like, does that kind of thing. And it's not my favorite. So trying to get rid of some of that is totally fantastic. If you can get rid of some of the zigzags and make it look smooth, then, we're doing good. And so I'm going to go ahead and knit 2. And again, I will show you the new slip knit. Slip as if to knit. Place it back on the left-hand needle. And Jim was asking me this morning, do you just use this slip knit all the time? And I told him, no, not actually. I feel like there's an application for this sort of slip knit because it makes the work stand out, right? So when I'm knitting socks and I'm doing increases on either side of my decreases on either side of my sock or the top of mittens or anything like that, then I would want to do the other slip knit because it kind of blends into your work, where this new slip knit pops everything out. So if you want the flow of the top of your sock to be very subtle and round and just kind of melt into the fabric, then using the traditional slip knit is great. But for this one, it really does make lace work stand out beautifully, I think. Don't you think, Jim? Yeah. So anyways, I just wanted to show you that. Maybe I keep going over the same things, but anyways, it's all in the details. I feel like, making your projects perfect is just 1 degree at a time. You can make things a little better, and those 1 degrees stack up on top of each other until you make a really cool project. And you're like, how'd you do that? And it's like, you're so proud of yourself. So I know it seems like nitpicky little things like this, but I really do like it. I like experimenting and trying and seeing what works for me. And if you guys have found something different, please post it in the comment sections. And I'll take a look at your comments, and maybe I can learn from you too. So as we're going along, don't forget to vote on our Millie Calori. And this is 100% merino fine superwash. It's a single ply. And we have, let's see, did we say this one's green and fall? Yeah. And then we can send this out to the winner for next week. So for this week, we had this vintage chunky. That's the acrylic blend. It's a chunky weight yarn by Barocco Yarn Company, and it is 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. It's a nice, sturdy workhorse yarn that is absolute joy to work with. I love this vintage chunky. Now let's look and see who the winner is for this week. It is Rebecca Dole. Congratulations, Rebecca. You won some vintage chunky, and all you have to do is get in contact with customer service at Alpaca Direct and give us your shipping address, and we can get this right out in the mail to you. It's for vintage chunky 2 skeins, and this light gray colorway was the winning color. Yay! So I was thinking for this next week, I was going to see if I can figure out how I could create that fantastic fuzzy looking finish on my projects without actually using mohair, because I don't know if any of you are allergic to mohair like I am, but I absolutely cannot wear mohair. But there might be something out there that I can use and that is a good substitute, looks great, and will keep me from being itchy or have hives. So I will be talking about that next week, some options that we could use. And I think that will be that. So I will see you next Tuesday, and I hope you have a great week. Enjoy the fall weather.